Happy Sunday, everybody. This is Scott Grossberg, author of The Most Magical Secret, 4 Weeks to an Ecstatic Life. And today I'd like to continue our discussion on mastering your magic. Remember, there are 3 pillars to having a magical life. The first is mastering your magic. The second is mastering your audience. And then finally, mastering your doing. And in this little series of training videos for you at the start of 2016, I'm going through each one of these pillars with you in a little more detail than I have in the past. Today, as part of our discussion of mastering your magic, I want to talk about something critical to you designing a life that has a specific magical purpose and specific magical outcomes. It's more than just choosing a life of magic. One of the things that concerns me is something called target fixation. You know, part of living the life of a magician, part of mastering your magic is also living in the world around you. And I've used the metaphor before of a pilot who flies from New York to Los Angeles. If the Earth didn't turn, if it didn't rotate, if there weren't weather conditions, if there weren't other aircraft, if there weren't birds flying in the air, you come up with all the little variables that you want, a pilot could literally get on a plane in New York and fly in a straight line to Los Angeles. Now, we both know that doesn't happen. Instead, the pilot has to constantly correct the course of his aircraft to compensate for the turning of the world around him. There are constant course corrections, and I get very concerned when I interact with people and they have the best of intentions, they have the best of motivations, they're highly energized, they have chosen to live the life of a magician, and then they become so fixated that they forget that there's the rest of the world out there. And it's called target fixation, and combat pilots know it all too well. And it's a situation where a pilot, for example, a combat pilot might fire off a round at a specific target, and then he becomes or she becomes so fixated on the end result, the target, that he or she forgets that they're actually flying an aircraft, and they wind up crashing because they continue the path down towards the target rather than firing off their rounds and then swerving off into a place of safety. So one of the things I'd like to do today with you is just remind you to take a step back periodically. Set your outcomes. Use the book and set your outcomes. Use the action guide and create little trigger steps and action steps and magical steps and whatever you want to call it on your way forward to those outcomes that you've set. But periodically, take a step back. Take a step back and look at what's going on around you. Notice the world turning around you, and then ask yourself, do I need to make some course corrections? I'm telling you that there will be corrections that you need to make. We all walk a flexible path. This world continues to move on and pulsate and add extra souls into your life and extra events that cross your path that need to be addressed. And if you go through life with an oblivious nature because you think you are entitled to the magical outcome that you've created as an intention for yourself, you are bound to get into this target fixation idea where you will crash and burn. And I don't want that for you. I want you to live a life that's powerful and profound and positive, and that means, again, just taking a step back. Do your course correction. And by the way, you might actually, as you take a step back and look at what's going on around you and listen to the people who are giving you feedback, those people, by the way, who you've chosen to actually listen to. And part of this implies that you've chosen to exclude people who are no longer empowering and who are cheerleaders for you and who are giving you good, solid critique. Not just criticism, but critique, things that make sense to you and that they want you to succeed as well. If you listen to all these people and you hear something a number of times that runs contrary to what's going on in your own internal scripting. It's time to reassess. It's time to say, hey, maybe I'm being sent some messages that tell me it's time to change course. And it's okay that you change course. In fact, it's actually okay that you even change your outcome. It's okay that you change your goals, as long as whatever you choose to do to move in a different direction or to move around an obstacle serves you well. So this week, I'd like you to commit to me to just taking a step back. Taking a step back and taking a breath and reassessing where you're going in life, so that you can determine if you need to stay on the current course or if you need to course correct. Now go out and make it a magical week.